Because they're investing 100% because they want that outcome.
Right.
And so, like what you're saying is when you invest 100%, you want the outcome to be that you make this work and that you guys are happy and you have a loving relationship and you don't lose half of your stuff in a divorce.
Right.
Get arranged marriages, right? They're usually in cultures where divorce is very frowned upon, so that's not an option.
Right.
So they're investing 100%, and they don't even have the love. They didn't choose this person. They're not going on love.
Right.
They're going on commitment alone.
Exactly.
You cannot usually be with someone who isn't of the same mindset.
Yeah.
And so that's for a man. If a man's really focused on growth and growing his mindset and having healthier ideals and ideas and mindset in general, then it's going to be really hard for you to be with a woman that is just like, this is who I am.
It only works if both people view it that way, right? Because if you're trying to, you can't change them. So you have to accept them. But you can change yourself, so you can't just be like, this is how I am.
Right. This is why men don't want to get married. I don't think they want to invest 100%. Because it's just like you tell your coaching clients, right? Or people that you are helping them like start a business or something. You're like, if I told you that, you know, you have to sell 10 motorcycles by midnight tonight or I'm going to kill you.
Right.
You think that person's going to do it? Or I'll give you $10 million.
Right.
That person's going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Because they're investing 100% because they want that outcome.
Right.
And so, like what you're saying is when you invest 100%, you want the outcome to be that you make this work and that you guys are happy and you have a loving relationship and you don't lose half of your stuff in a divorce.
Right.
But these men today are like, well, I'm just going to lose half of my stuff, so I'm not going to even get married.
Right.
Which they shouldn't if that's the mindset that they have, but really they have that mindset for other reasons. But you're 1,000% right that somebody who puts it all on the line is going to make it work.
Right.
They're going to do what they need to do to make it work.
Yeah.
And if you got married, I keep stressing this point because it's so important. If you got married to somebody, at some point, you wanted to spend the rest of your life with them.
Right.
And obviously, like if things like abuse and things like that are going on, get a divorce.
Yeah.
That's different. But, you know, if that's not the case and you guys just resent each other and you don't really like each other and you've gotten to this point where you're kind of divided, you can come back. You can go back to where you were when you decided to get married.
Right.
And have that happiness.
Right.
Because you made that choice. Nobody forced you to get married.
Right.
You made the choice.
But you gotta go to the dentist.
And well, I mean, look at arranged marriages, right? Mm-hmm. They're usually in cultures where divorce is very frowned upon, so that's not an option.
Right.
So they're investing 100%. And they don't even have the love. They didn't choose this person. They're not going on love.
Right.
They're going on commitment alone.
Exactly.
And they're investing 100%.
Right.
And those typically work out.
Yeah.
Majority of the time.
Yeah.
Not a coincidence.
And again, the same thing, just coming back to what you said with the topic of the video, is that if you're that invested, are little things about that person going to bother you as much? Because you know you got to deal with those for the rest of your life.
Right.
There's no out. There's no option. So then, yeah, you could get upset about leaving a towel on the floor. Or at that point, if you really know that there's no other, then maybe you find it funny now because it's cute because this is not going to change, right? If you have that mindset, you're more likely to tolerate those things, to not see those things as offensive. But again, like I said, it's still, a lot of it does come down to the fact that it's not the towel on the floor.
Right.
It's the emotional neglect.
Well, and we're not saying that your husband can just throw all his things around and you're just not supposed to care and you think it's funny and cute. But like you said, those things won't bother you.
Right.
But if it does get to extreme for some reason, if you're at that true love 100% place, you can have a conversation so much easier than you would with someone that you're like 80% in, because normally you still have that kind of resentment, so you're going to attack each other rather than try to communicate to fix whatever problem it is. So I mean, what other, I feel like we touched on a lot of the stuff.
I think so. I mean, I would say that,
like any other thoughts you want to add?
well, I mean, the question, I guess the other piece of it that I was thinking about is that part of it too is the kind of development that we each had done on ourselves before we got into the relationship. Because
that's true.
The earlier version of me might not have fared as well.
Right. Well, right? I think timing does have a lot to do with it. But I also don't think you have to be fully healed or even like as healed as you think that you can be on your own.
Yeah.
I think that you just have to be willing to work on yourself. Yeah. You have to be willing to work on yourself. And a lot that we have been talking about in some other podcasts and things like that we've been on that I think is important to bring up here is that women need to take more accountability in the relationship as well too. Not like you're responsible for the relationship,
right.
But you're always going to have problems if you're a woman who thinks she doesn't have anything to fix and that you can just be emotional and spew all over everybody and that's not your fault or it's not your problem or whatever excuse you're using. Like if you're a person that values growth, man or woman, you cannot usually be with someone who isn't of the same mindset.
Yeah.
And so that's for a man. If a man's really focused on growth and growing his mindset and having healthier ideals and ideas and mindset in general, then it's going to be really hard for you to be with a woman that is just like, this is who I am. And same with a woman. If you're a woman who takes accountability and wants to better herself and keep growing, you can't be with a man who's like, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And there's definitely those type of men and women out there who are like, this is me. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to do anything. And with those people, you need to walk away from because you can't go anywhere. You can only go so far with that person because it takes two people.
Yeah.
And that's why in the very beginning, if you're in that situation and you're with somebody that's like, I'm fine how I am, I'm not going to change, and you're trying to continuously grow, you cannot grow any further than where they're standing.
Yeah. You have to have the mindset of, I love them exactly how they are.
Right.
But I don't need to be exactly how I am in the sense that like, I'm not, I don't want to say I'm not lovable exactly how I am, but I'm not okay exactly how I am. You have to be okay with them being exactly how they are. But it only works if both people view it that way, right? Because if you're trying to, you can't change them. So you have to accept them. But you can change yourself, so you can't just be like, this is how I am.
Right. I always say that if you look at the person you're with, and if they didn't change at all, would you still love them?
Right.
And if you say no, break up immediately.
Right, absolutely.
If you look at them and you're like, if they stayed the exact same, like they're a good person, I could live with them and love them for the rest of my life. That is a good indicator that you're with somebody that already has those same ideas and like has worked on themselves and really cares about you and loves you. Yeah. But if you're with somebody where like, if they stayed exactly the same, because when I was in like my toxic relationship, I looked at it that way. And I also looked at it because I'm a woman in the way of, if I had a kid with this person and the kid turned out just like the father, would I be upset that now I have two of these people in the same house?
Right.
And I had to realistically say yes.
Yeah.
I would be upset if my kid acted just like this person.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to change. They didn't want to work on anything. And as a person who wanted that, I'm like, now I'm going to be extra stuck because I got two people who might not want to ever do anything again. And it will just, it's almost like a prison for people who want to grow and are constantly trying to be better. And you've said this before, and I feel the same exact way, that our love being at 100% makes me want to be better every day.
Yeah.
Like makes me want to be the best version of myself and keep going and keep going. And it's not a task. It's not like, I have to keep learning stuff. This sucks. Or like, I have to keep trying to be better. This is exhausting. If you view it that way, you're kind of in the, I don't want to change mindset.
Exactly.
So if someone also says that, red flag.
Well, yeah.
But, it brings that side out of you naturally when you love that person so much and you love them for who they are. Because I know when you first met my parents and they saw us interact, they were like, who the heck is this? Who is this Nicole? And I'm like, I'm a changed woman. Better than